Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today I am going to be sharing with you 3 incredibly easy ways to add a little bit of plaid or a lot of plaid to your handmade card. So I'll be sharing you 3 different techniques to create these 3 different cards here. So to start with, the technique 1 is using watercolors. So first off, I'm going to use a flat brush and I'm going to pick up this beautiful Fall Harvest color here from the 24 pan set. I'm then lining my panel up onto my little cutting mat that I have below me, and I'm using the little grid lines on there to help me line up my little stripes that I'm creating at the moment. So I'm going to create some thick stripes going horizontally, and I'm then going to do them going vertically, but I do find it easier to go this way, so I'm flipping it around again and then using those lines that are on the cutting mat to help me line up those lines. Now don't worry too much if it's a little bit off. It is going to give that handmade feel. I've let this dry, and then this time I'm taking a smaller brush. So this is a round brush, it's still quite large, but for this one I'm going to be using that autumn blazy colour that we have in the 24 pan set. So I think this one is the warm and cozy collection there. I'm then going to take an even smaller brush this time, and I'm then going to go into the beautiful summer night colour, and I'm just going to pop this down. You can see how really cool this is. Again, don't worry about your lines being perfect. That is going to give the look of the handmade feel to your projects, and nothing's going to be perfect, and it's just cool. And I really like this effect too. It's great for guys cards. If you do struggle with that, this is a great background to add to those. So I'm going to keep going with that until I've finished all of the lines there. And then once that's complete, that is the first way to add plaid. Second way is to use some markers. So I have some Sunkissed, I have Autumn Blaze, and also Desert Night markers. So I'm starting with the Sunkissed, and I'm using those lines on that grid map, on the grid cutting mat, to help me create my little stripes here. So I am creating thicker stripes with this lighter colour, and I am adding some to the edge too. I'm then going to go over with the Autumn Blaze over those lines that we've created in the centre of them, and I'm then going to take the Desert Night and I'm going to use the thinner side on this one to go through the little squares that we have created there. So there is the second way to add plaid as your background. Third way that I'm going to be sharing today is using cardstock. So I'm using the Gradient Cardstock set, which is the Summer Afternoon, and from this one I'm going to take the Warm Sunshine and also the Caramel Toffee. Very beautiful colours there. And I'm also going to take a piece of the Navy cardstock. Now I'm going to cut these into strips. So for the Navy, I've gone half an inch, so an 1/8 of an inch for those ones. For this one, the orange one, I've gone 1/4 of an inch. And then last but not least, the yellow colour, the Warm Sunshine, I'm gone for 1/2 an inch there. So here are my little strips, and you can see just how pretty they are just by themselves. And I'm then going to adhere these to a panel of cardstock. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And again, as before, I'm using those same grid lines as I used before to line up my fatter stripes first. With this one, you can go with your darkest colour first if you wanted to, because it's cardstock, so it's going to go directly over that. But I'm going to go with my lightest like I've been doing for the other cards. Once I've added all of the yellow stripes, I'm just going to flip it over and cut them off from behind, so it makes it easier when I do need to cut the others off. For the orange stripes, again, I'm going over those yellows, so I'm kind of leaving the same gap above and below the little strip, so you can see that behind there. As before, I'm just going to flip that card over again to get rid of any overhanging pieces, just to make it nice and beautiful that way. And then I'm going to take the navy stripes. Now I am using my Altenew tape runner. This works perfectly for this, and it sticks really, really well too. You may need to pop it down quite firmly to make sure it doesn't move around once you have finished, but then it's going to be nicely and firm in place. So those ones are going over the places of the little white squares there to cross over. Again, turn it over to cut off any overhanging pieces. And here are the 3 panels that we've created. 1 watercolor, 1 artist markers, and then with cardstock. I've added all of the panels to some card bases so I can then work on these sentiment pieces. For this, I'm taking the Soda Top nesting die set. I'm taking the 4th one down, and I'm going to cut this out of some solar white cardstock. So I'm going to cut this out 3 times so I can then have 3 sentiment pieces, 1 for each of the card. I'm then going to go up a size, and I'm going to cut this out of the navy cardstock. So this is the one that we used for the stripes. And again, this is going to fit through my little mini blossom, but this time I'm just going to add a little bit of tape so it doesn't move around, because it's quite tight to fit through the mini blossom. So once I have this one cut, I did cut a further 2. So again, we have 3 of these little panels. And you can then see that the white one will fit perfectly onto that dark one that we have. For my sentiments, I'm using a Cross the Pond stamp set, and this sentiment here works perfectly within that little circle image that we have. So I'm just going to ink that up using Obsidian and stamp it into place. I can then add the sentiment onto the little matten layer that we have with the navy cardstock. A little bit of foam tape just to add this into place adds a little bit of dimension to the cards. So here are the 3 cards complete. We have the watercolor background plaid, we have the marker background plaid, and also the cardstock background plaid. I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video and that you like the techniques as well. It would be nice to know which one is your favourite. If you do create a card that was inspired by this, it would be great if you do share it, because I would really love to see it. Thank you so much for watching. Hello there, crafty friend, Lydia here. Just popping in to say that you can get your daily dose of crafting tips, techniques and tutorials just like this by subscribing to the Altenew YouTube channel. All you need to do is click on that little bell up there and you will never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.